What's up? I'm Ava Max, and this is how I blew up.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, my mind.
When Ava Max dropped her debut album, Heaven and Hell, in 2020, it was one of the most anticipated pop albums of the year. It features dance floor-ready hits like My Head and My Heart, her fan-favorite track Salt, and several other songs that went viral on TikTok. Before her debut album dropped, Ava Max's music had already gone #1 in several countries and boasted over 1 billion streams. Currently, she holds several awards and was even named on Forbes' 30 Under 30 list this year. But her success didn't come overnight. It took Ava Max years of hard work, disappointment, and perseverance to finally make it big.
To all of the queens who are fighting alone, baby, you're not dancing on your own.
Many recognize Ava Max by her stunning voice, and that's because music has always been part of her upbringing since she could remember.
I have been singing my whole life. There's really nothing else I did growing up but sing. I tried having like some jobs here and there because I wanted to feel like somewhat normal, like not just chasing this dream that a lot of people were telling me, hey, you're never gonna make it. It's like 1 in a billion. So I started getting like a bunch of 9-to-5 jobs. I started getting fired. I wasn't very good at any of them. I was a nail receptionist. I wasn't very good at that because you had to do math, so calculations and stuff. It was not my cup of tea. And then I also worked at a mall hair straightening kiosk where I was straightening people's hair, selling straighteners, and it was a fun time until my boss at the time was like, girl, you are 20 minutes late every morning. Where are you? And I'm like, girl, I'm getting a cappuccino. Like, how am I supposed to work with that cappuccino? She's like, wake up early. I'm like, but... So I didn't really like doing that, so I quit that.
Ava's talent was something she inherited from her mother, who actually studied to be an opera singer. Ava Max's dreams wouldn't have become a reality if it weren't for the support of her parents.
My mom is an opera singer, but not professionally. She sang for fun. And, you know, back in Albania at the time, it was kind of like not okay for someone to follow their dreams. So, like, she would actually sneak out of her regular high school and walk, like, 5 miles every morning to go to her music school she wanted to go to, but she couldn't tell her dad because she would be like, you know, it would be really bad. Like, it was not a very accepting environment, like, of what you wanted to do. It was like more like get married, have kids, that's it, if you're a woman. So my mom secretly went to school for 3 years because she loved to sing so much, and then she finally told her father, and it was kind of big drama back then. But, you know, at the end of the day, she doesn't regret it, and she loved it. But that's about it. She has a better voice than me. She sings crazy operatic songs that I'm like, girl, how can you do that? But I guess I got it from my mama.
After immigrating to the U.S. from Albania, her parents allowed for her to be homeschooled and moved to California at 14 to focus on music.
I feel like I've been singing since I was 8 years old. I started singing in singing competitions and performing on stage at a really young age and loving the performing aspect of it first. And then I started songwriting when I was around 13. But I feel like I've always been writing songs and singing. So I guess when I started putting out music for real, like online, it was on SoundCloud. And then I started working with a producer. Well, before I started working with a producer named Circuit, that kind of took me under his wings and was like, you know, letting me write about what I want to write about and letting me be myself for the first time in the studio. So that was really fun. And we put out a song called Anyone But You on SoundCloud. And it was nuts. Like, I started getting offers from record labels like, oh, we want to sign you. And it was just like kind of like kismet almost. Everything I've manifested before then kind of exploded with this song that my mom actually sang opera on in the beginning of the song. So she kind of like, I don't know, kissed it for good luck in a way by singing on it. And yeah, and then I signed to Atlantic APG, and the rest is history.
And the rest indeed was history. But it took a lot of family support.
My parents have always been really supportive of me, probably the most supportive. They came out to California with me when I was 14. My mom was like, let's homeschool and focus on your music for a year. We did that, didn't turn out the way we wanted to. No one wanted to work with me or sign me or just anything. So I just started writing songs at that point by myself in my room. And then we moved back east as a family, tried high school for a year, went back to homeschooling. It was like, I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. So I continued writing songs until I moved back out to California when I was 17 and a half, almost 18. And yeah.
After experiencing some ups and downs after moving to LA, Ava Max finally was able to get her hands on a new single that would serve as her breakout hit, Sweet But Psycho.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, my mind.
It's kind of crazy because the night Sweet But Psycho came out, like on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere, I kind of like made a wish. It sounds kind of crazy, but I was like, this is probably my last shot. At least it felt like it. I was probably not gonna give up still, but in my head it felt like my last shot. So I'm like, you know what? If this doesn't happen, if no one relates to this song, then I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm writing about, because at the end of the day, no one's relating to it if no one relates to Sweet But Psycho. Let's be real, because we're all a little Sweet But Psycho. And I like was on the floor, curled up in a ball, making a wish. Then I started like bawling like a baby. I'm like, I hope people like this because it's really pop and I love pop and I hope people love pop still. And there you go.
Sweet But Psycho peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, reached number 1 in several countries, and has been streamed more than 1 billion times.
Sweet But Psycho hitting 1 billion streams is pretty wild. When I heard Sweet But Psycho on the radio for the first time, I was actually in Finland, in Europe, for the first time ever, and it was so cool. I was on this big bus heading to another radio promo tour, and it started playing and everyone started shouting and they're like, it's you on the radio. And I just fall on the floor. I'm like, it's not me. It's not me. I had like imposter syndrome. That's how I felt when I heard Sweet But Psycho on the radio for the first time.
Baby, now and then I think about me now and who I could have been.
Though Ava Max has always wanted to be a singer, she has come to realize that being famous isn't always a breeze. Even still, Ava Max maintains a positive outlook, taking inspiration from her iconic haircut, which actually started as an accident.
People taking pictures of you when you look like a wet rat from your workout in the morning, and then you're like, why do you even want me like this? Like, I look horrible. Like, wait till I'm like all glammed up. Like, stop. And then they get you out of nowhere going into your breakfast burrito. It's like, let me eat my burrito. That's all. Sorry, that's all. That's weird. This haircut was a happy accident. The Max cut, as my fans, my avatars called it, and now it's called the Max cut because of them. The meaning behind the Max cut is really just doing your own thing and like not caring what anyone thinks and like committing to something that stands for something. Like for me, this means like, you know, I can have my cake and eat it too. I don't need to have just short hair or just long hair, or I don't need to be in this like box and where everyone's in. Like I can be outside of the box, I don't care. Like I wanna do me and that should be okay. And that's really the message of my haircut. I cut my Max cut. It was a happy accident, but I accidentally cut it while burning my cookies in the oven. That is an actually true story, which people are like, is it true, is it not? It's actually true. I was baking cookies, I burnt them, and right before I went down to check my cookies, I had just cut one side of my hair, and I'm not kidding you. I pass a mirror, and I see like the lopsided cut, and I'm like, I've never seen this before, so it was kind of an accident. I didn't mean to do it, but I just happened to like it, and then I kept it. I did not eat the cookies, they were burnt, I thought the house was about to catch on fire. It was, no, not cool.
Ava Max credits her success to her global fan base, whom she calls her avatars. Even when the attention of fame gets overwhelming, Ava Max is reminded of her fans' constant support.
It feels insane having a fan base everywhere. Like Brazil, for instance. I've never been to Brazil, and I get DMs all the time from my Brazilian fans, and I heard Brazil is beautiful and it looks beautiful, but I've never been, so it's kind of wild to know that my music reaches places that I've never even been to. So it's super rewarding, and I feel super grateful for that. The craziest thing about being successful is the attention, especially in music and red carpets and all that. It's just so many cameras, and it's like, I definitely, in my head, did not sign up for that. And I was, you know, making music for so long and performing. But I definitely feel like I'm getting used to the attention because it's not something I seek.
After reaching chart success and dropping her debut album during the pandemic, Ava Max is already looking forward to what's next. She started recording music for her sophomore album, which she says will be as empowering as her most recent work.
But I'm really excited about this next chapter and the next project that I'm putting out, the second album, and I'm excited for everyone to hear it. It's definitely still anthemic and strong, and there's a lot of female empowerment in there and a lot of what I went through during the pandemic, and I hope you guys like it. Music in general, it's like really easy to compare And people compare you in general. Like, even growing up, my family compared me. Like, my distant relatives were like, oh, you're probably never gonna make it because it's so hard to make it. Don't listen to those outside voices. Listen to yourself. And if you really want it, and if you can't live without it, you should most likely pursue it. Because for me, it was like, I'm not gonna be happy if I don't do this.
And that's how Ava Max blew up. And for UPROXX Music, this is Sharice Johnson.